The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host on a February 25th. And it is a beautiful day out here, although extremely quiet. And that's what you always need to be watching out for. I can smell and feel the quietness. We're up 2 points on the S&P cash, just a little over 2 billion shares as we speak. So, we pretty much have everything over. We've got Mrs. Yellen to the bye-bye. And it is, I guess a little bit disconcerting to see such complacency, I think, is probably the best way to look at it. If I can get everything going here. There we go. Anyway, to see some complacency, he said, in the market. But you can see the light volume in the very narrow ranges, the VIX falling precipitously. But my guess is that we could have a few more days of this. I'm looking at the options, the way they roll in. And a lot of people are betting on the sky in a huge breakout. And very few people betting on any downside. And that does not mean you're going higher, but it may mean that we just go sideways for a little while everybody figures this out. And, of course, as a trader, all you want is action. Any truth that rumor with Apple will get into the home building business? I doubt it. Basically what we're looking at is a market that I think exactly is what the Fed has done. And that is that they love a market that is extremely range bound. They want to get the volatility down. And do they really care if you make a lot of money? The answer is no. They do care, though, if volatility goes up and suddenly the market spikes down, and that's what they're trying to keep out right now. Every time we get, any kind of movement that seems like it's a trend, it seems like we'll at least get somebody stepping in either the equity or the bond markets or even the dollar market. But it certainly looks like we've got a huge amount of central bank and treasury manipulation of the dollar out here. They're trying to get this thing to stop and not go down, but as much as just don't go up anymore. And, of course, if you listen to the earnings call last night from Hewlett-Packard, now you can't always believe what everybody says, but I have a feeling that them in particular have so many sales overseas for their products, especially the printer business and the ink business, that the move in the dollar was more than they could even think of. Looked like they were probably looking for something like maybe at the very highest 90 on the dollar index from all the surrounding countries. And anything approaching 95 as we've had now is just way too much for them to absorb. Of course, sales not all that bad. Could have been better. But $3.50 off, kind of hard to justify anything else. But I do digress. And, of course, after I digress, I want a little taste of history.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Today in 1862, Abraham Lincoln signs the Illegal Tender Act, putting the U.S. government in the business of printing paper money. Previously, most money had come from privately owned banks. At this time, although it does not say on the slide, the thought was that up to 40% of all cash out in the marketplace was a fake or a forgery. and it had been a huge problem for anybody. And of course, gold was the one thing everybody could agree on as cash. The problem was that everybody was taking gold and shaving the edges off it off, and even the gold dollar that the Treasury was printing got. You might find that it might be maybe 7/8 of an ounce instead of a full ounce of gold, and there was just about everything that you touched somehow had been sanded or polished or done something to get a little bit of the value out of it, whether it was, of course, all the fake cash and everything else. But once they started having a central printing agency, they got into a lot of the things that you need to have in a cash economy, and that is something that you can trust with enough security features to defeat the most easiest. And of course, prior to that time, all cash was printed on paper. One of the first things that Abraham Lincoln did was make sure that they started printing it on linen, and a special blend of linen that is still used today. The ink on it is a oil-based ink that never dries. If you ever take a dollar bill and take a white piece of paper and just kind of rub the dollar bill hard against it, especially where there's a green part, you'll see that the ink basically will kind of transfer off of it. But all the inks in dollar bills of any denomination, the ink never dries. It's on a linen, cotton paper that the process is supposed to be tough to duplicate out there. But probably most interesting is right after that, the act also authorized the Treasury to sell 6% bonds callable in 5 years, maturing in 20, and are quickly nicknamed 520s. A big-time Philadelphia wise guy, not a crook, but a promoter, selfless self-promoter. Just think of all the horrible people we have now today. Jay Cook devised what he called a democratic distribution of investments, slicing the 520s into denominations as small as $50, advertising them heavily in local newspapers. Really, he was the first kind of bond king out here. Hired his own army of 2,500 traveling agents to sell them in towns throughout the Union, and of course continued on. But I think he kind of met a foul end in jail, if I'm not after a certain amount of years. He pulled something up, but I can't remember right now. But his name was Jay Cook. I'll try to look it up tonight. But on this day, 1862, treasuries start being sold to the American public. And of course, we get real, or at least somewhat real, cash. Some people would probably, as they did this morning with the Chairman Yellen, say that maybe our cash isn't worth anything still today, whether it's real or not. Apple had a big problem to the tune of about $500 and some odd million. A patent troll down in Travis County, Texas. And if you're not familiar with Travis County, you need to go back to your late 70s, pretty much late 70s, mid 75, 6, 7, and a group of musicians. And this was Waylon Willie and the Boys. And these guys all were down in Texas and went to a county where everybody just kind of looked the other way, called Travis County. It's just outside Austin, Texas. And the first foothold of huge cocaine use started in this county. It basically, a lot of people that really, really loved drugs moved there. A lot of ex-hippies, stuff like that, mostly because it was a laissez-faire county and the sheriff looked the other way. In a predominantly very pretty restrictive Texas, pretty straight-laced down there. But there was one den of iniquity down there called Travis County. And what's happened is all these patent trolls, these are people that buy up the rights to patents. They produce nothing. But if they find a patent went through that had a rather broad definition, and these people never ever intended to do anything with it or tried to sell it to anybody, they just want to sue somebody later. These are the patent trolls, are all down there in Travis County because 9/10 of the people down there in Travis County are a bunch of commies. And if you go back and there's a whole ton of stuff that happens down in that county. But what was the CBS guy that said that he found the document on George Bush? I'll think of it here in a minute. But he was the guy that basically phonied the document about something in George Bush and his flying or drug use or something or rather. Yeah, it was Dan Rather. But the first clue is if you go to an insane asylum, you probably can put a little salt into anything that someone says to you. And, of course, Dan Rather went to Travis County knowing that it's full of insane people. Just think of Berkeley on steroids when you think about insane people with insane ideas. This is truly the Travis County and a whole county of people. And, of course, huge drug culture, that kind of stuff in there. So they kind of hate straight-laced folks. But this one county is the cash box for all these patent trolls. And most of these people are, I'm not kidding when I say these guys are full-tilt commies down there. There are a lot of burned-out people from the LSD days of the 60s that somehow migrated down there. And some people like it, some people don't. But if you're going to go after Apple and try to take some of their cash, I think last time I read that 30% of all businesses in Travis County and 80 or 90% of the tax base is paid by patent attorneys in Travis County, to give you an idea. But everybody files there so they can go there. The judges are insane. The people are insane. Everybody's insane down there. Anyway, Apple lost to the tune of $500 million. And basically, the Apple people are crying about it. But this goes into everything that is done in iTunes. And the company's called Smart Flash, but it makes no products, has no employees, creates no jobs, has no U.S. president, and is exploiting our patent system to seek royalties for technology Apple invented, said Christian, a Apple spokeswoman. And probably pretty true. Interestingly enough, Apple was using this to beat Samsung up by buying up bogus patents too. So maybe they got what they deserved. But certainly Smart Flash is not getting anything that they deserve because they deserve nothing. But it's just a horrible, horrible thing. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute to finish this up.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Check out the new look of Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
McDonald's is up $3.40, up 3.5%. Rocking the Casbar, $98.38. But that's it. And kind of interesting discussions running around Brazil and crude. But it's almost, I've been kind of worried about the socialist influence in Argentina and Brazil. And it looks like it's kind of basically rearing its ugly head once again. A Brazil judge who's basically presiding over the gentleman that was worth $30 billion and now worth minus $5 billion is having his court case overseen by a judge. That judge has been driving his Porsche Cayenne all over town. And, of course, the judge says that it's all about making sure that the Porsche Cayenne is maintained, of course, until I think it gets auctioned off on Friday. What is probably more interesting is that before the court case ever started, the old judge out here, D'Souza, who's actually related to a friend of mine that I raced motorcycles with. I'm going to get off. I didn't see this till last night, and I'm going to have to call him to find out the skinny on it. But I checked it out, and he's like from the same area and everything, so I'm pretty sure he's related to him. Anyway, it is pretty nasty. But the judge on the first date called him a scoundrel and a bunch of other stuff. And doesn't sound like an impartial judge to me, much less him absconding with some of his cars. And they're all parked in the parking garage of his high-rise downtown. But probably more interesting is Petrobras and what happens with it. Of course, a lot of this stuff is going to come out fairly quickly, that everybody and their dog down there was involved in back pay. But the question of whether this guy is going to jail and everything else may be more like Russia than anything else when they threw the guy in, was it 2003 or 2004, that had the large oil business in Russia, and Putin wanted it. And he was Putin's biggest detractor. So he just had him arrested and thrown in jail. It's unclear whether this guy really did something wrong or did horrible things. But what's clear is there's not going to be any kind of fair trial down there. And, of course, with some of the other shenanigans going on in Argentina, with the top prosecutor being shot in the forehead from a distance of 5 feet. But, of course, it was suicide. We're starting to see a lot of these countries break down. Now, a lot of people will not say it, but a lot of the policies here in the United States are responsible for a lot of problems that these other countries are having. As we continue to bastardize our financial system, basically the ripples are 10 times worse down there. And, of course, in Brazil, the $6 and $7 tomato seems somewhat ludicrous to us, but the repercussions and the problems continue going on. And when you see judges do this kind of stuff in the open, it kind of makes you start thinking that maybe the things that happened in Russia will happen in South America in the not too distant future. Of course, the most wanted, interesting to me, but probably interesting as a security issue, is that the U.S. State Department and FBI have announced the largest single ever reward for a computer hacking case, offering $3 million for information leading to the arrest of Bogdachev. He's a 31-year-old Russian national, but basically he ran the Zeus botnet, which infected over 1 million computers. I'm going to say it infected 10 million computers, because I think 1 million sounds rather small for what actually happened. He may have controlled 1 million, but it probably infected 10 million. They're saying it caused roughly $100 million in damages. Those numbers are always a lie from the government. You don't know what they truly are. But he pretty much, they figured out who he was. They know his handle. He was Lucky 12435 or something. He's been on the most wanted for a while. But maybe we're finally getting serious about computer fraud and security in this country. This is the first indication that at least anybody cares. Anyway, we'll be back in just a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Food fight!
Yes, there's a food fight going on in the FCC. And too bad Mr. Food Fight himself is no longer with us, but it would be nice if they had some food to throw at each other. But even some of the Democrats on the FCC panel are asking the chairman to roll back some of the provisions of the FCC on the internet, and it's unclear. The Chairman Wheeler has also been asked to come before the Congress today and said he would not.
This segment is brought.
Oh, we've got something in the background. Anyway, so I don't know what's going on there, but you got 3 fairly strong Democrats and 2 Republicans on the panel, and 1 very vocal Republican, but I don't really agree with him. You've got some other people. The question is how many other things are going to try to shove in this that have nothing to do with net neutrality. And so tomorrow we're going to see that. Probably going to see a lot of action in stocks like Google or Facebook or all the rest of these that are going to be big controlled. Look for Netflix probably to have some movement on what is actually in there. As I said yesterday to somebody in the den, the devil is in the details on this. The idea of net neutrality is great for the businesses and consumers of the product, And unfortunately, the Republican on this panel, I can't agree with most of the stuff he says. One, he says that, of course, that will slow down our internet to the speed of Europe. Well, he hasn't looked. Europe's much faster than us. And I think as we continue on, it's going to be problematic to figure out truly what the truth is. Normally, I would be on the conservative side of most of these arguments, but very tough to figure out, and unclear what he shoved in this thing, because he hadn't even let the people that are supposed to vote on it see it, other than a few people like this gal that from Clyburn. I think she's married to one of the House guys, if I'm not mistaken, the House congressman. But we'll find out tomorrow. But look for lots of action. I don't know exactly when they're going to vote on this. I think it's going to be sometime around at noon. But as soon as the text starts to leak on this, I think we're going to have some pretty big action in some of these tech stocks, depending on what's in there. Some people have said that the FCC is going to try to put a fairness doctrine in and shove that in this. And if it does, just look for this all to turn into one huge problem, which is maybe what he wants is just get this tied up in the courts for the next 5 or 10 years and keep it out of being implemented. But I think there are a lot of people who are going to be firing off some lawsuits about 2 seconds after the ink's dry on this. But we'll find out tomorrow. Southwest Airlines had some problems, down a little bit today. Basically the FAA said that they couldn't fly their planes. Now it said, yeah, you can. You just need to get these inspections that you missed done in the next 5 days. Now, for people that don't know about flying or never got their pilot's license, there's a thing called the Airworthiness Directive. And that is that if someone knows about a problem in a plane, they just don't tell everybody to put the plane on the ground. If they know that there's a plane with that has problem, in this case, 737s that had cracking in the tail area, what they will do is say, you know, normally every 500 hours you need to inspect the plane altogether. They'll say every 100 hours you need to look for cracks around the tail section in this area, and that's the Airworthiness Directive. There are a ton of small planes that are in scrap heaps now because it became so expensive to fly them with these airworthy directives that they just no longer fly. That's the problem with the 707. There was a noise issue, but they all went to other countries that don't demand the same level that the U.S. has. So a lot of planes end up being scrapped just because these airworthy directives basically mean the inspections drive the price of flying them up so high that they no longer do. But that's what happened in this. It was an airworthy directive that wasn't put in their computer system, so they missed the inspection. Of course, they grounded 160 planes. Everybody yelled and screamed, and the FAA said, well, we'll give you another 5 days. And, you know, is there a big problem on this? Probably not. But you always have to look at it. And Southwest has not always been Johnny on the spot on these, and is off a little bit on it. But that catches you up with all the actual info and news. And as we say here, when news breaks, I come to fix it. And we're going to be talking about some other stocks of interest, stocks moving out here today. And we will continue on. Anyway, we're talking about McDonald's, a nice pop out here throughout the day. And let me get my notes back up here. Do we see we have it out here? I don't think I have any notes on McDonald's and why it popped. Maybe someone in the den has, but certainly a nice, wide, huge candle for this stock. But it is going up against its previous highs that had 16 and 11 million shares at about $97.30 and $97.50. It is through that. It is above it with 8.1 million shares. You want to see how this thing completes the day. But maybe they came out with some numbers or something. Maybe said something. Airworthiness directives, yeah. And I remember that from my flying days. But it is interesting out here in McDonald's land that I drive by them. I don't go to them a lot, and it's just you want to see that volume come in here if you think this thing's going to hold. But right now, it looks like a low volume test of the February 29th 16 million share high, and a little better than the September 8th high at 97.50 at here. But keep an eye on that. But we're starting to see some of these stocks with big short interests flail. FSLR. Somebody was talking about First Solar out here today, continuing higher. And this is the problem. You can hate a stock, but you better not hate a stock and short it if it has a 40% short interest. Certainly, First Solar is one of these stocks. In fact, the whole solar industry, everybody knows, is on the street, has a massive short call on the sector. Of course, people that are long this want to feed them a few buckwheats, and you can do that with a volume if you can get a stock like this with high short interest and cram it down everybody's throats, and that's what they've done on this. There's a little bit of financial engineering that we talked about yesterday. There's a whole lot more of a short squeeze into a thin market on thin volume, and this is pretty interesting. Anyway, it's going up against the $59.78 high from November 3rd, and that was 1.8 million shares. We got 12 million shares today. So you start looking at what can happen. There's a gap at 62, and just the question is, how fast can these folks get out of these shares if they were short this thing? I thought maybe it had been making an ABC down. When you look at the earnings, it should have. This should have started the next round of ABC downs. But, of course, the announcement to cast off its revenue stream and some of the revenue streams of these stocks pretty much show that financial engineering can always come back. Other stocks of interest out here moving today was, go back here to my list. We were talking about Petrobras, so let's take a look on it. It was down 7%, PBR. And, doesn't look like a lot, but certainly is. It's bouncing around this $5.79 level to $6 level. It's down a little bit today. It's recovered a bit. Probably be helped by any move in crude. But right now, as far as I can tell, in the crude market, problematic to think that this thing has a happy ending. It may bounce out of here, but and the laws may be a little bit different in Brazil for bankruptcy. And you get slightly, a little bit, from what I understand, you get slightly better treatment as an equity holder than the United States, but it's the same thing. That is, if it goes bankrupt, bond holders are first in line, you're second. I would not be surprised to see PBR out of business in 6 to 9 months. I think it could be easily seen that there's so much fraud and deceit going on in the background of this company. When they finally start digging all these payoffs and bribes and everything out of it, they're going to find there probably isn't a whole lot there. Plus, of course, they said they were going to find a bunch of oil that they did not find. So they've got real problems, and problems of just maybe being too optimistic about how much oil was actually there. And, of course, the oil slide brought everybody down at the same time. If you're drinking something today, it probably not doing you too well if you're in SodaStream. SodaStream had a kind of spike down to $16.80 today, and a lot of volume on some bad earnings. I think there are a lot of people in this thing now thinking that they will get bought out, and it's really tough to see how somebody like some of these other companies in this field have not been bought out, that they would not be. But to me, the stock always smelled kind of as a fad. And it's just easier to go ahead and buy a 2-liter bottle for 99 cents, as I did this weekend, than screw around with making your own stock. What else do we have? Monster, yeah, MSN, MNST. Yeah, Monster Beverage up at its highs. So what else do we have out here? You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, well, what else can you say? Yeah. Oh, somebody in the den saying, yes, I wondered about the one the FCC guy said that Europe was slower than here, too. It's not. Some countries are, but the majority of countries' internet service is much faster in Europe than us. And only if you have something like Fios in your area or Google Fiber are you faster than probably, 80% of Europe? Now, those, gigabit services really don't exist in Europe. But we've got a huge problem with it here in the United States. Anyway, other stocks. Anyway, we're talking about soda. The other one out here was Son of Sam, Boston Beer Company. Woo. Talk about a haircut out here. And, of course, if you enjoy cereal malt beverages like Sam makes, well, you've got to be scratching your head out here on how they missed this large. I didn't listen to the call out here, but certainly blew through the last down through the last previous lows out here at 251 on November 20th in 2014. My guess is that this is going to be just like every other company, and it's probably going to be bought. I think somebody was down here buying this at 253.01 this morning, this morning. But 270 is still a huge haircut in the stock, down $40 and down 60 at one point off of yesterday's close around 310. I mean, you just continue seeing these companies come out and get blown apart. It makes you, got to scratch your head on these. So I will. Anyway, other stocks that are moving out here, at highs that I'm keeping an eye on. American Eagle Outfitter. This sector has been horrible for over a year, but this one's actually coming back a little bit. This one is out here. You want to keep an eye on it, but the volume is low. It's challenging the September 29th highs at 2014, 8.1 million shares. Got into it with 4.8 million yesterday, closing back below it today. And, of course, we had Macy's problems yesterday. But I'm watching. These are what I'm going to be watching on the close today. Avery Dennison is another one out here. I love the little label maker about 20 years ago before the real nice ones come out now. But anyway, AVY, this is another one up here on very, very light volume, January 13th. This thing had 900,000 shares, $54.32. It's gone through that, but boy, talk about light volume today and a doji. You want to watch out on this. Yesterday and the day before, we talked about these dollar stores and what's happening in them. And I was watching them at these highs, and of course, earnings coming any day, well, next week or so. My guess is as long as the wheels don't fall off of it, they're going to be all over these into the earnings. Of course, everything's a buyout candidate today. December 19th, 71.78, 8.6 million shares. Back into that high again today with 2.3 million shares so far. Got to keep an eye on these. We'll be back.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're off 3 points on the S&P cash. So we got a range out here. We're up to 21.19 and down at 21.12 now. So not much of a range and not a lot of volume coming in off those highs yet. 2.34 billion shares, but it is light. And we'll see how these markets close. My guess is we're probably going to get a couple more days of this light business going on. Then we're going to see some more direction in this market. But until we see some more, I'm going to probably keep my positions to a minimum. I've had one that I exited out flat today on my daily newsletter. Had a better one on Friday in the Tech Insider, a good start to that one, and I'm pretty happy about that. And so we got some positions moving around out here, but I'm going to be playing kind of very close to the vest out here until we see some real movement. Very light volume, no real sign of a breakout with a higher volume, but that does not mean the news could change in a minute. I think that there were a lot of people shorting this market, and again, there are some stocks like First Solar and Solar City, some of those other ones that have very, very high short interest, and you're going to see those rip up there. And then we've got stocks like Hewlett-Packard. Not a lot of short interest out here, but certainly a lot of volume. And that volume comes in on their call where maybe things are slowing down just a little bit out here in Computerdom. But not only that, but the dollar has gone against them. And, of course, they've blown through the previous low at 35.44 that was out here just a few weeks ago on the February 2nd low. And that opens up $31.62. I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth in this company as they split apart over the next year. But as long as the dollar hangs high, probably going to really hurt companies with slighter, lower margins where that dollar exchange really starts to hurt and really hurt Hewlett-Packard so far. See what else we have going on out here. I had a couple other stocks I wanted to look at. Another CHK on this one. Chesapeake Energy, of course, big into natural gas, missed estimates by 13 cents, beat on revenues, guided FY15 production just up 3.5%, and CapEx up way up 26% before acquisitions, and nobody like that at all in Chesapeake. Down on 45 million shares today. Its next real support levels probably down at about $16.41, and I expect it to get down there and test it fairly quickly. A lot of volume out here, not a lot of good news out of this company, and it has kind of been going down for a while with natural gas over the last year. On June 24th of 2014, this thing was a $31.49 stock. So a lot of these stocks out here almost cut in half. And there, if you look back a little farther, there's a gap where this thing really kind of started to take off. And that gap goes back to June 4th of 2012. That gap has been open for a while. And it was decent volume out there, but that area has been acting as support several times, even back to December 31st of 2012. That we kind of came into this, 40 cents or 20 cents higher, not a big deal. As always, hang on for the Tom O'Brien Show, following on most of TFNN.com. And sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. See you then, folks.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.